It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stand.
And don't forget you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Your host, Mike Adams, and Dan DeFoss sitting in the Up North Journal cabin tonight. What's going on, Danny?
Well, start off the night with a weather report from Jason Radecki. It's going to be another scorcher up there. And Ron Moses is checking in from Tennessee.
All right. Hey, Ron, thanks for tuning in. Jason says, yeah, we're on opposite sides.
Yeah.
Yes, we have flipped the tables on everybody tonight.
We have. We've flipped it a little bit. And
it's weird because I'm looking for myself and I see you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You're on the opposite side.
So.
No, we're back in the cabin. A little change.
Got the Hunter's Blend coffee rocking tonight?
Yep, got the Hunter's Blend coffee.
Where's your cup?
My cup's... I've been using my cup at home, so I just come over here and use this handy-dandy little mossy oak cup.
Okay.
Because this is called limiting myself, or else I'm never going to fall asleep between now and 2 a.m.
Oh, what's the matter, man? You can't stay awake and go to work at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, get up at 4:30 just to go to work. No, ain't happening.
All right. Well, you want to jump right into it tonight?
You know what? Yeah, let's just jump into it. We talked about him on the show before. We've had him on the show before, but he's done something kind of special, but we want to talk to him about it.
Yeah, okay. We'll introduce our guest tonight. Hey, Dan Jasa from Ohio. What's going on, Dan?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. You've been a busy guy here lately.
Yeah, I've been running around like a crazy man, basically living the right life of the rep and trying to actually shoot a little bit too.
Yeah?
I tell you what, you're doing the rep thing, and you're doing these tournaments, and between having to drive from Ohio to Michigan back and forth and getting in there to shoot, man, do you like get a full 40 minutes of sleep every night and then you're good?
I've been getting up pretty early and getting to the range. Try to get there 3 days a week. I usually get there around 6:30, and like I've said before, I try to make a goal for myself every practice session and get out there and get done what I need to get done, and really focus on what I'm doing shooting wise, and then pack it up and get to work.
Okay, so speaking of that, when you get there, is this an indoor range or an outdoor range?
This time of year, it's all outdoor. I really don't do anything indoor. It comes March when Indoor National rolls around. I don't want to see another indoor target until like December.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. But okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, because I know how much time you spend on the road having to do the sales part of your main job. But you get in the morning at 6:30, and okay, you're going to turn on a light and say, I'm going to practice now. What's some tips and some tricks to say, hey, I don't have much time during the week, but when I am, what should I be doing?
You basically have to break down and really be honest with yourself on what's going on with how you're shooting, and picking apart a few things you wish you'd be doing a little bit better. And like myself, working on this next week's going to be working on release execution and picking out something I can do. Say, I want to go out and I want to shoot 40 or 50 really, really good shots with perfect execution, and finish on a high note so your body kind of remembers that good stuff that you're doing, and basically just packing it up from there. So every time I go out and shoot, it's a little bit different, and depending on what's been going on, goals change, and end goals of where I want to be as far as shooting wise for field. It's just a building process week by week, trying to get myself ready for tournaments.
Well, talking a little bit about the shot process or shot execution and working through that versus, I mean, like right now, I know the biggest thing for me is being able to hold on target and not getting target. I don't really get target panic per se, but it's just trying to hold through that shot. But for you, is it more of that, or is it more of, like you were just saying, is it actually just hitting the release and executing that squeeze the way it's supposed to be?
Well, for me, where my biggest struggle is I over aim a little bit, so I try to hold it too still and try to keep it in the middle as much as I can. And when you're doing that, you're focusing so much on that, the execution kind of suffers. So your groups will actually suffer when you're trying to hold and aim way too much, as opposed to letting it kind of float in the middle and using your shot execution the way you know how it's supposed to work.
Okay.
Wow, I don't feel so bad now. Okay, good. But I'd just like to let Mike know that I accidentally let it fly accidentally. But just so you know, I had
Hopefully you didn't let go of the release.
No. Okay, so I finally did it. I don't know what I was doing. I was messing around and I hit the release and my arrow went flying.
Oh, you finally did.
Yeah, I finally did it.
Did you punch yourself in the nose?
No, I wasn't that far yet.
Okay.
But my arrow went 120 yards. Just from, it wasn't even at full draw. It was just.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyways, back to our start. But that's awesome. Okay, so a couple weeks back, something happened, and something big's going to happen in September. So, what did you do?
Like I was telling you guys before, every 2 years the USA Archery team has what's called team trials. So indoors and field are on even number years, and outdoor, like the 50-meter target stuff, is on odd number years. So I've tried to make the team 3 times. I was alternate twice. This last year for indoor team, I wasn't even close. So making a world championship field team's always been a goal of mine. So this year team trials came, and the way that works is you shoot 2 days for the national championships, and then they cut you down, all the competitors down, so you've got 8 people in each class. Then you shoot another day, or at the end of the second day, you shoot team trials. No, it is the third day. Yeah, the third day, you shoot team trials. They go the top 8. You shoot 8 targets. You cut down to 4, and then you shoot 4 more targets, and then the top 3 scores from the 3 days of competition make the world championship team.
And you did it, my friend.
Yeah, I got 3rd place. So last time I went to World Trials, I was 4th. I missed out the team by 1 point. So this year I did qualify in the 3rd spot. So I made the 2018 World Championship team. So it's pretty exciting.
And you are off to?
Cortina, Italy in September.
And how many days are you going to be there?
Counting travel, we leave on the 1st, and I'll get back on the 10th. So it's
Okay.
a little longer of a trip than I would have wanted to, just with the time of year it's being. But making a world championship team has always been a goal of mine. So I'm gonna figure out how to make it work. I got to call AT&T and figure out how to make sure my cell phone's going to work while I'm over in Italy, because I know I'm going to be getting calls all the time, and be putting in orders and taking care of dealers and making sure they have what they need to get done during that time of year, because I know it's just extremely busy for them in September.
Absolutely. And being Italy, it's I was gonna say 5-6 hours ahead of us, maybe.
I think it's 6.
Okay, so 6 hours. So that's actually not bad.
So I'll be able to get all my stuff done. Usually we're done shooting by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which will be about time where guys are going to be calling me if they need something, need help with something, warranty issues or anything like that. So I'll be able to shoot and then have the rest of the day to field phone calls and do what I can to help my dealers in the territory.
Cool. That's awesome, because it was exciting to see when the Facebook post got posted that you had made the team, and then to be going to Italy is just, that's got to be something awesome. Like you said, you've been trying to do that dream come true type thing, and you finally achieved it. But you going to be a little nervous or what? No,
I mean, if you look at the last, I think 6 or 8 world championships for field, it's been won by an American. The American field team is always probably the strongest team that goes there. So it's been said by a lot of people that the hardest thing to make a world championship team, or to make the world championships, is just to make it on the U.S. team. So we're extremely strong, especially in field. We've got some of the greatest field shooters that have ever lived in the United States. So to be a part of that and make that team that's the hard part's done. And now it's just preparing to have fun over in Italy and shoot well and enjoy the experience.
How many totals on the team that are going?
So there's different age classes, but there's recurve and compound. That's it. So there's 3 people from each division. So for the seniors, which is the 21 to 50-year-olds, there's 3 of us, myself, Dave Cousins, and Steve Anderson. And then every other division, there's only 3 people that get to go. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Man, that's going to be exciting. Hopefully they have some. Now, let me ask you this. I don't know how it works with weather, but you shoot through any type of weather except As long as there's not lightning, we're
Okay.
shooting. So
Okay.
when we were out in Darrington, we were in rain gear. They had rain there all 3 days. It didn't rain all day, but we shoot through everything.
That's awesome.
Rain, high wind, the whole 9 yards. Heat,
Yep.
cold.
As long as there's no lightning, man.
Yep. As long as there's no lightning in the area, they roll with it.
You know, I've heard some guys talk about, practicing outdoors. They say, a windy day, that's the time to go out and practice. I mean, do you do some of that just in case you run into wind?
I practice when it's windy. I don't like to do it. I'd like to practice when it's calm as much as I can, because if you start shooting too much in wind, you start getting some really bad habits. So for the field stuff, you're mainly in the woods, so wind really isn't a factor. It can be a little bit, but it's not like shooting regular target stuff where you're standing out in an open field just shooting 50 meters. So for the most part, I try to practice when it's calm. But yeah, if I'm going to be shooting some 50-meter stuff, I'll go out and shoot in the wind and practice and know what I need to do to either aim off or bubble off or whatever to hit the middle. But for the most part, I try to do all my work to make myself a better shot when it's calm.
So being a field event, you said it's going to be in the woods. Is okay. I know it's not the same as what we shot down in Ohio with you guys, but is it that same style of shooting?
It's the same format that you guys shot. So the national championships, was the start of the team trials, is basically the same format of what you guys shot when you came down and shot with me last year. So the first day is 24 targets, all unknown distance. Second day is known distance, and the third day was the team trials. So yeah, with what you guys shot, that was the format that we shot for team trials.
Unknown distance. Oh, I hate that.
It's coming up again. You guys better get practicing, because that tournament's coming up here in about a month.
Is it? What's the date on it?
Yep. I believe it's the 21st, 22nd of July.
Okay.
Back down
All right.
in Toledo.
Back in Toledo. All right. So we'll have to.
It's going to be at a different club this year, but it's going to be probably 20 minutes from where the one was last year.
Oh, okay.
So
We might be fully in Ohio this time.
So we don't get to shoot in Ohio and go to Michigan.
You will not get to go into Michigan while you're shooting this time.
The first time I mentioned that, somebody said, "You did what?"
Right. Exactly.
Like literally, it's on the state. I mean, right on the border. So
that's just that it speaks volumes of Dan and his shooting abilities to make the team, and
it's
awesome.
incredible, man. It's just simply incredible. What did your wife say when you said, "Hey, we're going to Italy"?
We've been talking about it for a while. We were planning on making the trip to Dublin 2 years ago, and then I missed the team by a point. So this tournament and this World Championship team is something I've been looking forward to and preparing for a couple of years. So I do a lot of other shooting, but this tournament's always been on my mind. So it was, before I even left, it was okay. Get ready to plan on going to Italy. So I had the confidence to know that I could shoot well enough to do it. And then when it finally got done, she was like, "Yes, finally, we get to go." And so started booking plane tickets and hotels. And
she's already got her bags packed.
She's excited. Yeah.
She's probably waiting at the door. All right, Dan, let's go.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I've never been overseas, but I think of Italy. You think of certain things. What's the terrain like where you're going to be shooting? Is it going to be a lot of flat land? You said it's going to be in a wooded area, but
it's going to be in the Alps. So
okay,
it's in the mountains. So Cortina is like, if you look at Switzerland, the Swiss Alps, that same mountain range runs into Italy. So that's going to be where all the qualifications are done. So the first 2 days of competitions are going to be up in the mountains.
Okay.
Trails running through the mountains, different targets. So quite a bit different from the stuff you guys saw when you came down to Ohio, but those same kind of targets in hills that are 20 degrees uphill, 20 degrees downhill.
I was just
all over the place.
Just about thinking about that, being in the mountain type terrain. Yeah, it's going to be.
So you got to be a billy goat.
It's almost like the one stand where you're shooting at 11 degrees.
Oh
yeah.
So figure the 55-meter target you guys shot on the same kind of slopes.
No thanks.
Right. Man, that's going to be some. I can't wait to see pictures from this. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, so they'll do that for the qualification days, and then all the eliminations. From what I hear, is going to be in the streets of Cortina, which is right at basically the foothills of the mountains. So from what I hear, we'll be shooting on the streets up into the mountains. So it's going to be a pretty good time. I'm looking forward to it.
Now over there, we've talked about this before. Archery over in Europe is a lot bigger than it is here.
Yeah, target. I mean, you look at over here, hunting is 97% of the market. Over there, it may not be 97%, but it's a vast majority of the archery market over there is for targets. And there's a lot more recurves over there, too.
So that's probably going to be one heck of a shingding.
How many countries are involved in this?
I don't know how many countries are going to be involved in it. I know that they send quite a few teams there, but I don't know the exact count.
Man, it's going to be a wild 9-8 days, whatever he's on the ground over there.
No kidding. You know, I remember the Lancaster shoot this year. We got to watch part of that live. Is any of this going to be on the internet anywhere that we could see it? Possibly.
Yeah, World Archery will have all the elimination matches on YouTube. It may, for us being in the U.S., I think NBC may have the rights to the World Archery stuff.
Yes,
so
they do.
It may be on NBC Sports on their live streams, but they will be doing a live stream. It just depends on where you have to find it. I'll have to find out that information, but I think it's going to have to be on the NBC Sports webpage, probably.
Right, exactly, because actually Chris Schnurr asked that same question today or yesterday, and
there was a shoot yesterday, right?
Steven Hansen, you know, he answered the question was NBC has the rights. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so they had the World Cup out in Salt Lake, and people trying to find it on YouTube. Like everything else on World Archery you can see, but any of the World Cups, NBC has rights to it. So it just probably depends on what their contract states on what they actually have rights to. So they may not want the field archery stuff, so that may be on YouTube, but I mean, I'll have to look at that when it gets closer to time. Simply incredible.
I just can't imagine shooting on that kind of stage. I mean, we watched you shoot at Lancaster, but on a world stage, that's just, I don't know, man. That's just got to be exciting. It doesn't get any better than that.
I don't know what Dan. I know he did we watched him do the Lancaster thing. But that was a pretty big stage.
Yeah,
Lancaster, everything. But okay, so now this is the world stage.
So you were stone cold there. Is you going to be the same way here?
I try to be every time I shoot.
We have a new stone cold in this world.
That's right.
Stone cold
Dan Jasa.
I'm not going to shave my head.
Oh, come on.
Don't do that.
Well, I tell you what, if you can hang on for a few minutes, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue a little more of a conversation, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, hang on, folks. Here, we're going to take a quick break, step outside. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at PSEarchery.com.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show, talking with Dan Jasa, PSE sales manager down from Ohio, middle of Ohio. So,
Ben, hey, have you had time to do some fishing?
I've been doing a little bit of fishing, but not much.
Not much?
I've been on the road too much.
Okay. I know you were doing a little bit of bass fishing last year. I was wondering if you were able to get out this year.
Luckily, the place where we live, there's a town lake like 2 miles away, so at night before it gets dark, I'd like to go out and throw a fly out a little bit. I actually caught a nice 2-pounder on the fly rod last night, or I guess that was 2 nights ago. That was pretty fun to bring in on a fly rod.
How's the fly rod going? Because I think that's something new you picked up, right?
Yeah, I picked that up last year. It's fun. I'm really getting to enjoy that. The regular spinning tackle or bait casters are a little boring now after throwing a fly rod for a while.
I gotta get him up here to go after muskie.
You've been talking about it.
I know.
Twist my arm.
I know, right? I got to get a hold of Eli and get it. It's getting to be about that time where they're going to be up on top. And
yeah, I would love to come up muskie fish. That's a bucket list fish for sure for me.
Well, we were down there at Toledo, or I was down there. What was that? A month and a half ago or so. when I came down with that shoot back there at Mudjaw.
Yep,
and
Mudjaw.
And I come in from shooting, Chris Schnurr and Chris goes over to his vehicle, and I look over, and Dan's like starting to break out. He's got a fly box, and he's going through his flies and everything. And all of a sudden, here comes Chris, and he's got one. They're comparing. It's like you've got him hooked now as well.
Oh boy!
So
yeah, I took him out when he was over at Cabela's. They've got a lake over there, and I had 2 fly rods with me. I let him play with one, and now he's got more fly rods than I do.
See, you were over by Cabela's. Did you go to the lake, or were you in the little cuts?
The little cuts over there.
Yeah, that can be fun in there because the carp come in there too, and you can go bow fish. If you walk along that road, you can bow fish that.
Okay.
When the carp are in, yeah, you can bow fish that. But speaking of bow fishing, just bows in general, how's the new? About a couple weeks ago, they announced the new 28 coming out.
That was back on June 1st?
June 1st. Yep, so been 3 weeks, and dealers have them, and they said the people that have shot them so far, they've all been blown away, and that bow is going to be a pretty hot ticket this fall, I think.
Absolutely. You know, I was at Jim's yesterday.
Okay.
And he had a couple up on the wall, and I was kind of just eyeing them, and dude, for a blind hunter like I am, typically, it's a winner.
The 28 axle.
The axle 28. I mean, that's going to be so awesome in a blind. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, all over that bow is going to be great. So I've been playing with mine a little bit more here and kind of shooting at some distance in the mornings whenever I go out and shoot a little bit just to play with it. And the more I shoot it, the more impressed I am with it. I've never been a real short bow kind of guy. I've always liked a little bit longer bow, but this thing just impresses me more and more every time I shoot it.
And what's the longest you've shot it?
I shot a couple at 100 with it the other day, and like I said, it's just amazing what that little thing will do at 100 yards or 80 yards. And I've put a pretty good wad together at 80 on one of the field faces. So I'm not going to be taking to any tournaments anytime soon, but it's definitely going to be packing with me in the woods this fall.
Well, it didn't take long for people to get it out in the field and start killing stuff with it. I seen a couple bear that were taken with it right off the bat that first week, if I'm not mistaken.
I was actually, before it was even released, we had, when we got our samples out, our Northeast rep lives up by Canada, went on a bear hunt and killed a 426-pound black bear with it. So he's got the first confirmed kill with the Evolve 28, and it was a dandy.
Oh, there you go. You know what he's going to be talking about at ATA next year. Guess who got the first one?
That's getting the job done, man. I mean, like you said, right out of the gate. That is cool. Well, anything else you got going on? Anything down that way that's newsworthy or noteworthy?
Not that I can think of. I'm just trying to get out and see some new dealers and spread the PSE love around the territory, and that's been about it.
Have you done anything in the way of securing somewhere to hunt in Ohio for this fall?
I'm still looking. I'm just going to go the public land route this year. Ohio's got some pretty good public ground, and I'm sure you've seen some big deer get killed. The Mark Hammer buck was killed on public ground. That was a 254-incher. I know we had a young man a couple years ago kill a 220-incher with a stinger down here. So I live right in the heart of Licking County, so I've got a lot of stuff that's pretty close. I probably will go start knocking on some doors when it gets closer to September, maybe try to find some private ground. But my plan is just to hit the public ground scene this year and see what I can do.
So what he's probably going to do is October, just drive down the highway and pull off on some public land next to a highway.
Yeah, walk in. Shoot a monster.
Shoot a monster buck right next to a highway.
Well, when I moved here, I invested in the OnX Maps app, and tell you what, there's a ton of information in there. So whenever I'm driving around, if I stop someplace, I always kind of pull that up and look and see what kind of public ground hunting is around, and start making notes of some private stuff that maybe look good, and jot down some information on the owners so I can go and talk to them and maybe see if I can get some access there. But that app's been actually pretty invaluable, even for fishing around here, being able to find public places to go fish. I use that thing all the time.
Never thought about using it for fishing.
That's
interesting.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
With as many streams and stuff that flow through here, you never know if it's Columbus City or somebody private, or with that app, it's pretty dang accurate as far as where the boundaries are. And with the GPSs on these phones nowadays, it basically will give you a pinpoint of exactly where you are.
Absolutely. Well, you talked a little bit about public land hunting. This last week we had a confirmed case of CWD here in Michigan, right almost down the Ohio border. You've been in Ohio now, what, a year and a half? A year and a half?
About a year and a half.
What's their thought process on CWD? I mean, you guys don't have anything widespread outbreaks like we do here in Michigan. Being that close, do you know anything about what they may be thinking or doing or what they've said?
To be completely honest with you, I haven't really dug too deep into it down here. I know whenever I was back in Missouri, we had quite a few outbreaks, and the Missouri Department of Conservation was trying to figure out ways to kind of stave off the spread of it. I'd have to assume that the DNR here is kind of doing the same thing, trying to figure out ways to make sure this stuff doesn't spread further into the state. But to be honest, I haven't been too up on the new information on the stuff down here in Ohio.
See, and the difference about Ohio is I think they manage a lot differently than Michigan does.
A lot of places manage a lot differently than Michigan does. Don't get me started.
I couldn't have, maybe I should have worded that a little bit differently. But anyways, I think they tend to manage more county by county in Ohio as opposed to our units by units, DMUs.
Yeah.
So don't get me started is right.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if they did something around that county in Michigan, around their counties adjoining Ohio.
Well, see, and that's the thing. The reason I brought it up is Jackson County. There's only one county between the state line and the southern border of Jackson County. So, being that if that winds up being a quarantine area, you're going to have a county right adjacent to Ohio that's a quarantine county.
Right, exactly. So I'm sure they'll all be in conversation together between Michigan and Ohio, and he might be far enough south it's probably not going to affect him.
No.
It's not like something here where they do a shotgun blast and it affects everybody from Timbuktu.
Yeah. 13 counties, I think, is what the latest one is.
Right, exactly. So, but
I'm sure they're doing something or trying to prevent as much as they can.
Right.
But to be honest, I haven't been too updated on the latest information on CWD around here.
Well, you've been pretty busy.
Yeah.
a little bit. He's going to go enjoy some Italian food, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. Some authentic Italian food.
He better get his working out regimen in store because that's going to get blown away when he goes over there.
Yeah.
I have to start doing some more hiking with some packs on, getting ready for the mountains.
There you go. Well, Dan, we're going to let you go. I know it's a Sunday evening here. We appreciate you taking a little time out of your day.
Can we talk to him real quick about this site that I got?
Yeah, go ahead.
That he sent me, and
he can't see it, but
he knows what he knows what site I got.
Kind of know what it looks like.
Okay, yeah, we got him. It helps if you get the site and not the package, right?
All right. So, I'm going to be using the Black Mountain Outfitters Carbon DR driver site. I have one complaint right off the bat. Is for those of you on the live stream, if anybody can read that small a print on directions.
Here, let me get the camera. Let me get the camera up here so they can actually see. There you go. Hold it up there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I know I'm blind, but that's ridiculous.
That is like about maybe a 4 or 5 point font.
I swear, I was
Get your reading glasses out, old man.
Okay, I'm telling you, the reading glasses did not help. Okay,
he's got them on now, and he's still
I got them on now, and it's like, holy cow. But anyways, so I was reading the directions on the site, and your opinion, it says to sight in the bottom pin is your 20-yard pin, and then work your way down from that. Is that the correct?
The way I usually do it.
How do you do it is what I want to ask.
On a site like that, I'll use the top pin to sight in for 20 yards, and then I will actually just use that pin to figure out which tape I'm going to use. So instead of sighting in 20, 30, 40, 50, and then sliding the slider down to get further distances, I will actually make a mark where the 20-yard pin is on the tape, slide it down, and shoot out to 60 yards. And that'll give you a little bit finer measurement on what your pin gap will be for the tape. And then I'll leave that pointer on 20, sight in my 30, 40, and 50 since it's a 4-pin, and then I'll put the pointer on 50 yards. And then once you start sliding that sight down, your bottom pin will be referenced to the pointer.
Okay, so the bottom 20. Now you did 20, 30, 40 typically?
If with a 4-pin, I do 20, 30, 40, 50.
Okay.
And then when I put the tape on, I'll make sure the indicator pin on the tape is pointed at 50. So then you slide that up to 50, and then your 20, 30, and 40, 50 yards pins are all on. And then if you want to shoot further than that, you roll the slider down to whatever distance you're going to shoot, and you use your bottom pin.
Gotcha. Because I tell you what, a friend of mine, and I tell you what, I haven't used the site yet, but already I can tell you the engineering in this thing is awesome, because I helped a friend do a you're right, Ron. He made that too simple. You're right. I know. Trust me. I'm going to be out in the backyard swearing up a storm. I helped him last week with a CBE site. And what happened was the housing, as you can see here, the housing is way in front of the mechanism that makes it go up and down.
In front of the whole arm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, the CBE one took the housing, and it was about equal to where that was. So we could barely get to the little Allen wrenches to get in to move the pins.
Okay.
It was a pain in the butt. So I was kind of getting nervous. But then when this showed up, and I was like, oh my gosh, something as simple as that makes a world of difference. So so I tell you what, I'm excited to get this out there, and trust me, if I have any problems, I'll be calling you.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Oh, you know I will.
He'll be calling you all kinds of things.
Right? So I want to thank you for getting it to me, and hopefully by the end of this week I'll have it sighted in.
Okay.
But with an asterisk, because I'm packing this week to go up north. So
what bow is that going on?
This is going on the 35 or 30, the Evolve 35. The Purple Madness bow.
Okay.
So I can't wait to get it out there. And if this works anything like I want it to, that bow might go out in the woods with me.
Okay.
I don't care if it's purple, green, and yellow.
He'll be wearing purple leotards as he shoots it when he's sitting in his tree stand.
If I'm shooting a big buck with this thing, I will gladly wear purple leotards to shoot a big buck. Okay.
Instead of a big S on his chest, he have a big P.
I don't care. I don't care if I look like Barney if I shoot a big buck. Okay. People that are watching the live stream and everything, if you look over Dan's shoulder, if I shoot one of those, I'm good. Okay, I'm not going to complain.
Right? Nope.
Like that one?
Yeah, there you go,
dude. Any one of those on that wall, I'm not going to complain about. Okay, so you're spoiled by hunting Nebraska, Ohio,
Missouri.
Come to Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to bring you up to Michigan and help us thin the doe herd out a little bit this year.
Again, don't tempt me with a good time. I love shooting does.
Yeah, we'll have a free for all.
My freezer's empty, so Emily will be all for me coming up and shooting a bunch of does.
There you go.
So looking at our live stream, Ohio. Ron Moses says Ohio. I believe had one confirmed involving a captive deer. He thinks back in 2017.
That sounds about right.
And then he's also getting ready to pull the trigger on a new PSE bow.
Oh, right on.
So Ron.
Which bow are you thinking about, Ron? Yeah. Type in there.
Go for it, Ron. Do it. You won't be disappointed.
That's right. Get out and shoot them. Put them in your hands.
And I'm sure there's some good people down in Tennessee. I think that's where Ron said he was from Tennessee. So get out. I think Dan would agree. If you're going to pick out a bow, definitely shoot them. Right?
Yeah. Go shoot them all and pick the one that calls your name.
I would totally agree with that.
There will be one that you shoot and you're like, all right, I'm in love. Let's go for it. Let's rock it.
Yeah, and when that happens, there's
exactly.
no doubt about it.
You know what? It's just one of those things that I tell everybody. I've seen Dan handle customers and whatnot. It's the same thing. Here, shoot them.
I know we shot that 28 a couple weeks ago, man. That felt pretty doggone good in the hands.
That's ridiculous.
So, well, I'll tell you what, Dan, it's been a pleasure. We're going to let you go. I know it's Sunday evening, and you got to get up and early and shoot in the morning, I assume.
Yep. I'll be up at the crack of dawn.
All right. Well, you take care down there in Ohio and have a blast over in Italy. And, maybe we can ring him one day and wake him up.
Ron Moses is from Michigan.
Oh, he's from Michigan.
So he should stop by and he's stuck on the road.
Okay.
That's why he's stuck down in Tennessee.
I got you.
I get you.
Right.
Well, Ron, if you're ever in the area when we're around and you pick the right weekend, Dan might be there, and you can.
You never know.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, let us know when that. You said the exact day, and that's the 21st and 22nd down there in Ohio.
I'll double check, but it's that weekend, whatever July 21st, 22nd, whatever that Saturday and Sunday is. That's the weekend they're doing it. So it's a 2-day shoot. If you guys can, try to make it down for a couple days and bring some people with you too.
Yeah, I'd love to. We'll round up and maybe bring a busload down if we can. It'd be a lot of fun.
More the merrier.
All right. Hey, you take care, and we'll be talking soon.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. We're going to step outside. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve cam system, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back, third segment of the show. It's getting a little warm in here in the cabin.
It is getting a little warm, and you know what? It's kind of sad.
What's up?
We're starting to lose daylight.
Yeah, first day of summer was the 21st, and today's what, the 24th? Yeah, so days are already getting shorter. But that means we're just another day closer to hunting season.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. You know what? It's always good to have Dan on the show.
Absolutely.
Bring us up to date with what's PS. You know what? And I'm so excited for him getting something like that accomplished. Going over to Europe, where it's at this year. I don't know exactly all the different places it's been, but you know, for 8 days that he's going to be there, it's going to be something memorable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But, good luck to him and shoot straight.
Absolutely. So. Aim small, miss small.
You got it. And yes, that's a good. It's a good. He had a good tip about not over holding your sight pin too long. Because then it starts to just get it to the point where it feels good and let it fly.
You know, back a couple weeks ago, I told you I was having a few issues.
Yeah.
And I thought my shoulder was a little bit yacked. And I laid off for a week and really didn't shoot during the week at all. And went back at it again this weekend. And actually broke out the 31, my hunting bow, the Evolve 31. And started shooting the new Carbon Express pile drivers and getting them on.
How's that shooting?
Shoots really good. I mean, the arrows fly good. What got me is I've been shooting the Phenom now, since May?
Yeah,
April, May?
Whenever the weather broke.
And I was shooting the Carbon Express Maxim SDs for target. When I knocked the first arrow for the pile driver, I was like, whoa, man, this thing's huge. It's like shooting a telephone pole. I can really tell the difference in the weight.
Exactly, you know, and then I kind of did the same thing. Mm-hmm. I was shooting the Ferocity, and I said, you know what, I'm going to pull out my 31 and just shoot it. And man, you're right, it's a lot different. The two bows, the Ferocity to the Evolve 31 is different, and I just got the 35 set up. I'll be shooting that this week, and it'll be fun. But yeah, it's that's why it's so important to get out and shoot them, because they're all different.
Absolutely.
So
the biggest thing other thing I noticed was not only the weight of the arrows, but also that the Phenom is set up at 50 pounds, 50-pound draw.
Yeah.
And I went to shoot the 31, and I've got that set maxed out at 60 pounds, probably about 62 pounds on the draw. And I shot probably close to 40 arrows, and my arm was starting to feel it just a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just that subtle difference between the two.
I have got, I want to say, I think all mine are set down to 55 now.
All of them?
Yep.
Okay.
It's across the board.
So, but no, it was fun to get out and shoot. And so you got the new sight. You're going to get that rocking.
Yep.
You get that rolling. All right.
I'm excited get that out there. And I know it was tough to set up the that CBE for my friend, so I'll be a little nervous setting this one up, but we'll get it there.
So,
yeah, it's I'm excited and just shooting and heading up north next week. That'll be fun. So I started packing today.
Okay,
just can't pack in one night.
No. What are you going up for, a week or
a
long weekend?
Gonna go for a week, and it's our usual summer trip up to the cabin.
Okay.
I have not been able to get to the cabin yet this year.
Okay.
Yeah, grass is gonna be a little long. I don't know how the trail is.
Are you doing anything with food plots?
Okay, so I didn't get up there when I wanted to pull some soil samples. So I think what I'm going to go up there, I don't know. I just this year I'm going to grab some more soil samples. I'd like to know where my soil's at. I'd like to get up there for Labor Day. If I get my soil samples here in July, I should be able to get results back in time to know.
Do your fall planning?
To do my fall planning.
Okay.
So I might do a little work on them. Maybe try to knock them down. I'm going to
see what you got.
See what I got. I'm really interested to know what the new growth. It's been a full spring season there. There's all the cutting's done, so now I want to see what the regen looks like.
Oh, from the logging.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So I want to know what's thicker, what's still thin, or what do I got to deal with? Because there's some trails there. I was hoping, we've been talking that we're going to try to keep them trails, but I'm thinking we might try to get some seed of something down on them. We don't know, clover or something that...
Something to use as a food plot.
Something we can use as a trail, but also a food plot.
Right on.
So I'd like to see how that's working out. I know they've had some serious rain up there.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly... I'm expecting with all the rain that they did have that... it should be lush and green.
Okay.
So that's why I'm expecting some grass. And get up there. I might do some... I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'll get up there, and I might have to make a trip to town and get some seeds. There's a new seed place in town. So I might go up there, see what I got to deal with, and go check them out, and maybe pay them a visit and spend my money there and kind of help out the economy up there.
Right on. When you plant, you just use a broadcaster, or do you hand throw it?
Okay, so... last year I used a push broadcaster.
Okay.
Tractor Supply had some kind of deal. You buy a bag of fertilizer and you got a hand spreader.
Okay.
So I got a hand spreader now.
Okay, I was gonna say if you needed to borrow mine, you can take it up with you.
No, I got a free one. So
okay.
It was pretty cool. It wasn't free, but
there's nothing free.
Right, exactly. It's like
you're paying for it.
Yeah, I'm going to pay somewhere. But I bought a bag of weed and feed, and I got a free hand spreader.
Gotcha.
So I got one, so I'm good. I'm happy about that. I just don't know what to plant yet.
Okay. Ron Moses, we're talking about food plots right now. Ron asked if we're going to have Nick on again about food plots. Because the flood we had is gone, and I want to plant, but don't know.
Hey,
what,
Ron,
it's late.
Where are you located?
Yeah, type in,
let
what
me know
area.
Where you're located, because I'm kind of interested if the flooding. Because I know the Western UP got...
that's something we hadn't talked about. You're not far from where that happened.
I am would be southeast.
Okay.
Of all that flooding.
Okay, so you're near the Michigami Reservoir, right?
Correct.
So water flows into that reservoir. What's that like?
That's exactly what I don't know yet. I don't know. I know our stream... I'll see it when I get there, because you can usually tell if it swells, how it leaves that kind of like a mark of where you can see where it flooded.
Right.
And then I'll head over to the reservoir, and I know they should be they should be starting to let it fill up, and actually they'll let it down in the fall, right? Spring, it's full from the runoff. Then they let it go down for the summer. Yeah. So I'll see where that's at, and that water's got to go somewhere.
Okay, he's got property in Augrays.
He's in Augrays.
So he's just south of us.
He's just south of you up there. And you're going to need to get on there and start doing your food plot maintenance, especially if you're going to do some fall stuff. I know Lincoln said he got his soybeans in a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
We talked to him last week.
We have not done anything this year with a spring planting. For the guys who's been following us here for the last 3 or 4 months, we're now working with some consultants, land consultants, as well as They're helping us with our deer management plan, our habitat management plan there on the property.
Yep.
By the time we got things rolling, it really is too late in the spring to do any spring planning. So we're going to do some fall planning, and this year it looks like we're going to try to save a little bit of money and maximize our potential going into next spring before fawning season. But what we're looking at is probably doing some oats. That's kind of the direction they were leading us into. We haven't really confirmed that as of yet, but that's probably where we're going.
Oats. So you plant the oats and just let them stand?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I've never worked with oats. Everything that we've done in the past has been rye and clover, pretty much.
You had you turned me on to the rye, the rootstock rye, and the clover, and I used that last year. I'd be interested to see if that came up. What didn't come up last year?
I can tell you, there's not a lot right now. Anything that wasn't planted with anything of any height, clover is gone. I mean, the one clover that's lasting is stuff that's in some tall plant material.
Okay.
So it's like I said, we're just in a strange dynamic right now. We're trying to get rolled over into this management plan, and we're it's like, okay, let's forget about all of the old thinking, the old things we've tried, because we tried so many different things in the past, and played experimental games, really trying to figure out what we could grow and what would work. And we were planning things that were good, but it was at the wrong times of the year.
Well, that's the thing, right? And now, like you said, you have the consultants on board, so now they're going to try to erase the blackboard.
Yep.
And say, okay, now think like this.
Yep, exactly.
And
what they do, it definitely works. I've seen
the
results of what they're doing, and it's just a little bit of a shift from what some of the things we've been doing, and it's a different way of thinking, and hopefully it's going to save us a little bit of money in the long run, and it's going to get the deer in kind of in check. Start shooting the does, thinning the does out, getting our buck to doe ratio in a better balance.
Somewhere close.
Yeah, somewhere close, and start working with that.
And that's the thing.
Come up with a plan.
You got to come up with a plan, but you got to do the footwork now to get that there. And his resume, or their resume, actually, when we were up there for the necropsy, there was proof in the pudding when they brought that deer from another property.
Yeah.
And said, here, this is from another property. And
take a look at this.
Take a look. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what those guys do, it just speaks for itself.
Exactly. So that's awesome. And we're at July 4th. We still got some fishing we need to do. I got taking the kayaks and we get out there, do some kayak fishing. I haven't been yet this year. I want to get out there. Definitely get the kayaks out there.
Jake just came home. He was home for about 10 days from college. And he just left before we started the show. But they were out on kayak. Him and his buddies were out on kayaks twice while he was home, but didn't do any fishing. I've yet to wet a line this year. It's something I definitely want to do. And it's just once you start getting into certain things and rolling along, and like we're working on the management plan at our place. I was up north quite a bit in the spring, and now there's things going on at work that's taking my time. Now we're rolling into show season, and I'm like, man, and we're going to shoot some archery, and it's like, where did the summer go?
Right.
I mean, I know it's really the first official week of summer, but I mean, summer really started Memorial Day weekend.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to have the kayaks, definitely do some fishing. I'm going to be hopefully getting out there every day somewhere. Out in the Michigami is a big one. And we usually pick different put-in points.
Okay.
And then, let's go to this one, and that'll be a cut, and we can fish that one. And
how big is that reservoir?
Oh, my Lord. It's huge. I don't know the size offhand.
Compare it to, like, something around here.
Houghton Lake size?
Okay. So it's bigger than Lake Fenton, obviously.
Oh, yeah. It's huge. Okay. You could spend a day just going in and out of the different cuts.
Okay.
And that's how we do fish if we have a boat up there, is we'll just pick an end, and then we'll just troll into the cuts and throw, or we'll do a little drifting. But there's definitely some little lakes as well that we might try to get to. It all depends. Sometimes the 4th is probably going to be busy.
Okay.
So, and it's in the middle of the week this week, isn't it? It's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's on a Wednesday. It's right in the middle of the week.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that is, because sometimes you show up at one put-in and there's a massive amount of people.
Go to another one, there's nobody.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And Also, Wisconsiners like to come over and do some fishing over in Michigan. So you can pull up to a lake and in the put-in point, and there'll be 10 cars there, and 9 of them will be all Wisconsin plates.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Definitely interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, we're bumping up here on our last break, so we're going to step outside, take a quick break. We come back, we'll kind of wrap up the show, talk a little bit about some things that happened here in Michigan this week. So we'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at PSEarchery.com.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Sitting in the cabin backwards tonight. I'm still not used to this.
You know what? You can say backwards for this show, but after this, it's going to be normal.
You've been hiding. I noticed you're hiding behind that mic there quite a bit. You need to lean in a little bit so everybody can kind of see what's
but I'm afraid you won't be able to hear my voice.
You just got to turn a little bit.
Turn my mouth like this.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
But we did a little redesign, flip some things around, make things a little easier on us, and a little better, hopefully. And what you got there?
Ron has a fact here.
Mm-hmm.
Says that rice grows in water.
Uh-huh.
And he's right. And if he's had flooding, actually, I think, matter of fact, today was one day that I think they had a lot of rain up there, and it was just doing the old spin on top of, just above Saginaw on that, with the low pressure going through.
Okay.
It might have rained a lot up there.
I know yesterday there were some areas that got hit pretty hard. We were at a open house.
Yeah.
And the clouds were dark all day. And it's like as soon as the clouds passed over us, as soon as they got east of us, boom, it cut loose. And they got a lot of rain just east of us here. So
yeah, they're just east of us got rain, and then we didn't get nothing here, or
right.
we got a passing shower here. And it was one of those, the weather guy had the map up, and it was just like a green speckled mess.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, as soon as this goes by, it's done. Oh,
right.
no.
No, just
you had to worry about it all day.
Well, kind of in the show here, I want to talk just a little bit, what few minutes we got left here, talk about something that happened earlier here this week here in Michigan. We allude to it just a little bit earlier in the show, talking about Jackson County. They had just confirmed this week another case of CWD, and it was actually the first one in that county. And from the way the story goes, from the press release of the DNR, which we've actually posted on our Facebook page.
Yep.
There was a local person there that was seeing a deer regularly that looked sick. It actually was exhibiting signs that there was something seriously wrong with it, possible CWD. By the time they come out to actually investigate, the deer had actually died. So did it die of CWD, or did it die of complications because of CWD, from something else?
Okay.
That they're unsure of, but they said it did test positive for CWD.
But they don't know if it died of CWD.
Yeah, but they're saying if it did, it's probably going to be the first confirmed case in the state of Michigan of a CWD death from a cervid, a wild deer. So that's what we're facing.
I don't know. I have this.
That's right down in the heart of big buck country.
That is in the heart of big buck. But I wish, instead of coming out and say this possibly could be the first, why don't they just say, okay, we have this, but wait till they get 100% confirmation of if it was or not?
What does it matter?
Well,
one way or the other. I mean, if it tested positive, if it does come back confirmed positive from, I believe, Ames, Iowa, where they sent them to be tested.
Yep.
So what does it matter one way or the other? I mean, it just means it didn't die from something else that led up to the complications from the CWD. The bigger issue is the things that's been going on. The week prior to that was the open forum, public forum, where we had people a lot of people from around the country that are involved in deer management and biology come in and speak on behalf of the Michigan hunters, trying to stop this wholesale slaughter up in the 13-county core zone. We had Lincoln Ronan talking about it. So, you guys have been listening to this here for the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about it a little bit. And actually speaking, there's one of the guys, Jeffrey Lee Antis from Michigan Deer Hunters, Let 'em Go, Let 'em Grow. He actually spoke at that meeting on our behalf. So what gets me is, okay, so now what's going to happen?
See,
what's going to be the reaction for Jackson County?
Okay, so talking about that, Ron Moses has a comment that it says, until I see 50,000, he's not going to panic. Mm-hmm. Now, I think instead of, now here I go, on my soapbox or what? The plan that they're thinking of doing is a shotgun blast overreaction.
Yep.
I think it's wholeheartedly, you guys are just picking, you know what, let's just get rid of them all and we'll be good with it, instead of actually trying to think it through. And being in Jackson County and being so close to Ohio, my thought is, how will Ohio attack it? If they do anything at all, they might not do anything.
It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Exactly. And if they do something, what will they do? Will they do, I'm just going to pick a number. They pick 3 counties around the which would be their north border to our south border, and say they're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to permits everywhere and do this. Or
something tells me they're not. Something tells me that they won't.
They're a lot smarter. My thought is, no, you're right. They'll think about it and look at it and try to do it a different way, as opposed to what Michigan's done. So
Ron Moses here, he just typed, he said, yep, Lincoln changed his mind about APRs. In APRs or not, the thing that Lincoln's been talking about for the last 3 or 4 weeks was getting people like the people who want the $1 rule, the APR guys and QDMA guys, they're all starting to kind of funnel down and find common ground and work together.
You know what? And that's
to solve the problem. And that's a great idea.
That's a big thing Lincoln said last week, was about the $1 guys actually getting on board with them. And it's like, okay, so you could tell me, oh, you guys are just one group. You just think, well, hold on now. Now we've got 2 groups starting to think the same way.
Right.
Hold on a second. So there might be something there.
Right.
And then when you get QDMA to show up, and give their what's going on.
All those groups have all got different mindsets of the way they want to attack
absolutely.
a problem. But the thing that really impressed me was the fact that, okay, they all agree that this wholesale slaughter in this 13-county area is wrong, the way they're going to go about it, the mismanagement that they're trying to propose. And they're wanting to come together as a bigger group, a bigger voice, and find common ground to start that effort in getting people to realize we need to manage better.
Absolutely. And I think it would speak volumes of our NRC to actually say, hey, you know what, we not just we listen to you guys, but this is what we're going to do. But hey, we listen to you guys, and we are going to do some of the stuff that, and actually say that, and come out with whatever. Pick one of the ideas that they have. But it'll be interesting to see how. And there also was one up in Wisconsin, right? Up in.
There was another case that was confirmed up on the northern border of the Michigan-Wisconsin border, and I don't remember, exactly where it was at. And that was in Wisconsin? That wasn't in Michigan.
No, it was in Wisconsin, which was close to the Michigan border.
So what's the DNR's response going to be to that?
Right, exactly.
How is that going to play into your area where you hunt?
I know last year already the PSAs were going off. Public service announcements on the radio were repeatedly, almost hourly, about, hey guys, if you're bringing any deer from Wisconsin, you can't bring this, you can't bring that, we want it deboned, we want it no brains, no. They were adamantly talking on the radio, at least, to the people in the area, what not to do, and talking to the butcher up there. It's definitely a concern, and they're trying to get ahead of the curve, but we'll see.
Something here before the end of the show, which I want to throw out real quick. This is something that most of you guys know that's watched for any time. I work at a local TV station, and I've been working on this outdoor segment for the last 6 months.
Going
out shooting, producing, directing it, and editing it and the whole 9 yards. It's called On the Trail.
Yep.
It's with Williams Gunsight Company here locally. And Tom Wright's the owner, the CEO of the company, and he is the person that actually does the interviews with these people. You know, he's the front man. We were talking this week, and he was asking about, well, you know, hey, what do you think? What's going on? And so we're going to try to talk to a local deer farmer. Okay. Somebody we met at ATA.
Yep. I knew exactly. As soon as you said local deer farmer, I was like, okay, I know who that is.
Okay. So they've got deer behind a high fence.
They
make product. Okay. They don't hunt them. They make product.
You know, they make product, and I bet, it'll be interesting to.
So we're going to go talk to him, and the reason I bring this up is for everybody that's listening to this podcast or live stream, or if you're catching the live stream that on YouTube or whatever. If you've got questions about CWD,
anything
like
at
that,
all,
pass them along to us. I can't guarantee that we'll ask those questions on that, but I'm going to forward some of these things along to Tom and say, hey, look, this is what some of the people are asking.
Right, exactly. The people want to know this, whatever it might be, and no question is a stupid question.
No, ask. I mean, that's
it's one of those things. And Ron said it there. He's not going to worry about it till 50,000. So
yeah, well, I
know, and it's just one of those things that it's big, but it'll be interesting to see how Ohio attacks it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, if they do anything or if they don't do anything, what is going to be their initial reaction? I want to know what state of Michigan is going to do actually here with this new case.
Oh yeah,
in one county.
So that came out this week. So that's June, the last week of June. We're going into July. There's going to be a July meeting. And so when do the final recommendations?
Tony Smith just joined. Tony, if you're listening.
When did either Jeffrey or Tony, if you know when the final recommendations are voted on, put into place.
When does the NRC make their
call.
rule changes for the upcoming 2018 deer season?
Because
I think it's close to August.
Okay, so let's go with that. So now that you got this new case, right? Here we are. We've got one more meeting left, and then we'll say August. We don't know. Hopefully they'll tell us. But they might have to make some more changes depending on how they wanted to handle it, or they just. I don't know if they do a wait and see. I'm sure they'll probably put a perimeter around it the way they've been going.
Well, it makes me wonder. We're going back to if they're going to keep trying to follow what the DNR recommendations are. You're not. Oh, Tony Smith said August. Okay, thanks. That's when the rules are going to be made. How are you going to get hunters engaged in this wholesale slaughter? There was some discussion going on. I believe it was on the Let 'Em Go, Let 'Em Grow page, if I'm not mistaken. A guy was talking about shooting the yearling bucks or not, and talking about buck dispersal. And I seen that Wayne Sitton, he chimed in on it and was basically trying to explain the fact if we shoot the doe cohort, and get those does, get that population down in those areas,
the bucks will stay.
The bucks don't disperse as widely. So they're not carrying that. And where do they get the disease from? They get it probably from the does in those social groups when they're little.
Yeah.
So you start thinning them down. They don't travel. They don't take it to another group.
Well, like it was proven in my little test case area called behind my house.
Danny's Deer Farm.
I had 5 bucks last year constantly, every day. I mean, it was like
up until
I
when?
could name them. And then we went into the winter, and then all of a sudden now, I've yet to see one.
You haven't seen any of those bucks.
I've got all the does though.
And those bucks were how old? Year and a half old?
Yeah,
they were all little bucks.
They were pretty much all were the little bucks. But
so I'm thinking after fawning season, you started seeing less and less and less.
I haven't seen them since. Well, the antlers are gone, so it was like what I could tell is like okay now, but now all of them coming in are does, pregnant. I did see a little one, so but yeah, it I hate to say it, but it makes perfect sense. If I could actually physically hunt there, why not shoot some of those does that are there? And I'm guessing some of those out of the 5 bucks, a couple of them would have stayed.
Right.
And it actually this year was one of the first years that I really noticed it. I really paid attention to it, but then because last year I had so many bucks, I'm like, oh, this is good. And all of a sudden it's like,
Isn't it amazing once you start learning the science behind
Right.
this stuff, the things you pay attention to, the little things that you never, ever thought about. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I remember that was in my Deer Steward 1 class, or that was up at, they talked about that at the Deer Health Check, at the necropsy.
And it's just amazing that I've yet to see any bucks this year.
Yeah.
And last year at this time, it was I could see them in velvet. They were coming in, watching them grow. And all of a sudden this year, not a thing. And I don't know what the fawns they'll be dropping here. I know there's going to be some, but it's like it made sense, and I'm like going, huh?
Right.
It's kind of like putting 2 and 2 together. Mm-hmm. From hearing what the sittins had to say and do this and do that, and okay, hold on. Then I go in my little backyard test area and go, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I could, and if I shot you, and you.
Yep.
Because I think I've got probably a dozen does.
Mm-hmm.
If I take out half of them, would some of those bucks have stayed?
Right.
It's just amazing, and it kind of making sense more and more. And it's like, wow.
I guess I've said the more I listen and listen to the different little places I get information from, and you start stacking it up against other pieces of information you get, and you start putting this puzzle together. It's like, okay, well that fits. No, wait a minute. That there's 3 or 4 different things over here that this doesn't make sense.
Right. Exactly.
So you start putting all those things together that plug in together and make things work, and you start to see a clearer picture. It's just like when I was at the prescribed fire seminar last weekend?
Last Saturday.
Last Saturday, yeah. When I was there, and Dr. Harper was talking about noticing things within that field that we were standing in, and he was showing things. If you're just standing there looking, it's like, it looks like weeds. And then all of a sudden you start, well, wait a minute, that one there is nipped off.
Oh, yeah.
And that one's nipped off. Okay, well, you can start to see what they're eating. That reminded me back in turkey season when I was chasing a bird down the 2-track, and they popped out on the 2-track, and I just dropped down on the side in the weeds.
Yeah.
And I'm laying there, and as they start to walk off, I'm looking down. I quit paying attention to the birds for a second. I'm like, oh, wait, there's something right there. It's nipped off. That's what a deer was eating. You start looking at browse.
The big one was when you did the video with Wayne, and he took the hula hoop.
The hula hoop and threw it out there, yeah.
What are they going to eat in here? And he came up with 9 things.
Yeah.
And then he turned around and walked to a food plot, threw it out there, goes, they'll eat everything there.
Right, yeah. Wow. And when you start looking at things like that, and like you said, and putting whether it's, where did all the bucks go? How many does are here? You start thinking about all those little things and how they all work together.
Exactly, and
it's pretty cool.
That's why I want to get up north to the property and see what the regen is like.
Right.
Because that's all new growth, and I know that's going to be a food magnet for a few years to be.
Right.
So, and as far as what I can tell, there will be no changes for up north for me. So I won't be able to shoot any does, which...
You can't even shoot them with a bow, can you?
Nope. Zero.
Nothing.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So unless something changes, but I'll have to deal with that as it is.
Okay.
But no, you start putting all this stuff together, you bits and pieces of information and everything. It's amazing, and it almost hits you right in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like the archery stuff that we've learned from Dan Jasa. You start putting all these little different things together, and it's like all of a sudden you start shooting tighter groups, you start shooting more consistently. It starts to make sense.
And and if I can glean just a little bit of information off that guy,
right?
And I'll even say Jim Beasley over there, because he's an excellent shooter, and he even said he how did he say that? When I win, I want to shoot my best, but if I lose, I want to shoot my best. And it's like he goes, I haven't shot my best, but I've won. Which okay, I'll take the win.
Yeah,
but he's mad at himself for not
shooting his best. Right.
So but right, so. We'll see. We'll see as time goes and get into next week, and we'll get into July and hopefully get some lines wet here. Hopefully, I will be getting some walleye. I would like to nab some.
Well, next week I'm going to be in the cabin. You're going to be on the road. We're going to try to do a Skype connection.
We'll try to figure out something.
Or at least a phone call.
At least a phone call. Give you an update from up there and find out what's going on. And hopefully the cabin is still staying in when I pull in there Friday afternoon.
Not floated down to the Michigami
Reservoir.
So
I kid you not, my biggest fear is if the bridge washes out.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think it will, because there's like 7 layers of a bridge that...
Did you see what happened in some of those towns up north?
I know. After seeing that one road down the hill,
right?
All bets are off. Ooh,
okay.
Tony's got something.
Okay. I tell you what, let's go ahead. We'll wrap up the podcast right now. Then we'll read the comment here real quick. So for those of you on the podcast, tune in next week. Danny's going to be
in the UP.
In the UP, so we'll get a call in from the UP, or maybe even a live stream. We'll have to wait and see on that. But join us again next week for sure. So that'll do it for us this week, folks. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Powered Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Winsent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stands.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.